The digestive strength is depleted during fever as per Ayurveda. Based on this simple principle, Ayurveda recommends lifestyle and diet for fever. The following advice will help you to gain strength and to bring the body temperature to normal levels. Fever in Ayurveda. Of all the disease chapters explained in Ayurveda, probably the fever chapter will be the largest in most of the textbooks. Fever is featured with a condition called am, a state of indigestion. Here, the food is not digested properly and there is depleted nourishment. Sweat channels are blocked with increased temperature in the body. As per Ayurveda, fever is called Jwara. It is divided into 3 stages: Jwara or fever of recent origin or within first week, Madhyam Jwara or fever which is few days old, Purana Jwara or fever older than a week time or chronic fever. Jwara. Jwara means newly manifested fever. We can also consider acute fevers which have just manifest. Contraindications in Jwara. Below mentioned are the 9 contraindications mentioned by Master Charaka, which need to be stressed upon by the physicians to those in the earlier phase of fever. Sleeping during daytime. Sleeping during daytime would increase cough and arm in the body. This would further deteriorate the digestive fire. Deterioration of digestive fire is the main event explained in the pathogenesis of fever. Day sleep would trigger these events and worsen the course of fever. This would also further contaminate the ras dhatu or nutritional fluid in the body. The channels transporting nutritional fluid get contaminated in the pathogenesis of fever and day sleep would worsen the same. Bath. Taking bath during acute fevers may immediately put the doshas into a state of imbalance. It worsens the fever and imbalance the process of metabolism. Therefore, one should avoid taking bath while having acute fever. Herbal oil massage. Oil in nature is equivalent to arm. Application of oil and conducting massage might trigger and aggravate the arm further. This will further lead to blocks in the nutrition carrying channels. In fever, the Agni or digestive fire is displaced from gut to periphery. The gut fire or digestion capacity of the individual will be depleted along with rise in temperature in the periphery. Massage might cause heaviness of the body, increased temperature and other symptoms of fever. So, oil massage is contraindicated in acute fevers. Food. One should not take food in acute fevers. As already said, the digestive capacity is very less in the condition of fever. The stomach is weak and will not be having enough strength to digest food. Already arm or toxin is formed in the stomach. Further, if more food is provided to the stomach, it would become too heavy for the stomach as it can't digest the provided food. This will lead to indigestion and formation of more arm and excreta. This will also worsen the fever, therefore food is contraindicated in fevers. This is the reason why Langhan or therapeutic starvation or fasting have been advised as the initial treatment approach in dealing with acute or newly manifested fevers. Master Charaka clarifies that foods which are heavy and hard to digest shall be kept away. This also means that light to digest foods like gruels shall be used, but there are also rules for using the same. Sexual intercourse. Since in acute phase of fever, the digestion is impaired, there is depletion of digestive fire and capacity. The digestive system will not have enough strength to convert the food into nutritive juices. This will lead to inadequate and improper formation of tissues including semen. Semen is the last tissue to be formed in the chronology of tissue formation as per Ayurveda. Indulgence in sexual activities when there is inadequate formation of semen will lead to further depletion of semen and retrograde pressure on the precursor tissues to form semen. In conditions of fever, the person will also not have enough strength and libido so as to get indulged in sex. So, he should not be pushing himself into sexual act during fever. Anger. It is said that anger is the other form of fire. Anger is an emotion which tends to increase pith, which is an abode of fire component to greater proportions. Since anger increases pith and pith would eventually worsen the fever, anger needs to be avoided during fever. This also calls for the person to maintain the mental balance during fever. The mind tends to get afflicted by fevers, and there may be high-end emotions including anger, but the person needs to have a check and balance on it. Exposure to breeze coming from each direction. Excessive exposure to breeze at any time is not good for health, especially when one is suffering from fever. It is possible that the winds blowing from different directions have different impact on us when we get exposed to them. Here, the Master Charak is speaking about the eastern winds, which have the capacity to trigger dosh aggravation to highest levels. This can further imbalance the doshas in those suffering from fever. Exercise. Enhancing the digestion capacity is one of the benefits of properly done exercise. But exercise too should be done in balance, neither too much nor too less. But here we are speaking about the impact of excessive exercise on those suffering from fever. There is raised temperature at the level of body, senses and mind in the conditions of fever. And in this condition, getting indulged in too much exercise would worsen the fever. That's why exercise should be avoided during acute fevers. Consumption of things which are rich in astringent taste. Foods which are predominantly astringent in taste should be avoided by those suffering from acute fevers. If astringent taste is used in these fevers, it will cause constipation or blockage of doshas and will cause irregular fevers. Importance of restrictions. Many times the restrictions and contraindications are very important, as equal to or more than the treatment process, therapies and medicines. Contraindications and restrictions, when properly followed, would contribute towards quicker healing and cure of the concerned disease. They are also part of the treatment process. They help in prevention of disease and prevents in recurrences. Prevention is half the cure, and this is achieved by keeping away the things and activities which are contraindicated. These contraindications may also be causes or triggers in case of fever. Activities and diet to follow for fever which is few days old. 1 year old rice which is easy to digest provides nourishment and strength. Brinjal, moringa leaves and fruit, bitter gourd, pointed gourd, radish, flattened rice, green gram, red lentil, chickpea, horse gram, kidney bean, raisins and pomegranate. Activities and diet recommended for chronic fever. Panchkarma procedure like therapeutic emesis, therapeutic purgation, collyrium, nasal instillation of drops, herbal smoking, massage, etc. Cow milk, goat milk, ghee, aritake fruit, castor oil, sandalwood paste application, exposure to moon rays at night. Activities and diet to avoid during any type of fever. Wearing red cloth, red flowers, taking wrong food combinations, hot and heavy to digest food, sour foods, betel leaf, watermelon, and such other foods that cause moistening and obstruction of body channels. Take less food, which helps in easy digestion and absorption of nutrients. As per modern science, rest, diet rich with vitamin E and C, eggs, barley water, ginger, garlic are recommended. Alcohol, smoking, junk food, butter, ghee, fried foods, soft drinks, excessive sweets should be avoided. Hope this information brings health in your life. Thank you.